The market on Colony 7 was loud and crowded. Humans and aliens walked side by side, but trust was still weak. Some looked away when an alien passed. Others kept their hands close to their weapons. Above them, metal towers touched the gray sky. Below them, fear moved quietly through the crowd. If you enjoy HFY science fiction stories like this one, gently consider subscribing to the channel. Because this story will change how you see humanity. At the edge of the market stood a human man. He was tall but tired. His coat was old, and his eyes showed someone who had seen war. He did not talk. He did not shop. He only watched. His name did not matter. Not yet. Near the center of the market, a small alien child moved between tall legs and heavy boots. She was not like the others. Her skin glowed faintly blue. Her eyes were wide and curious. She held a small light toy in her hand. She was lost. Her people stood far away, busy with trade and guards. No one noticed when she slipped into the human crowd. Then it happened. A sharp sound cut through the air. Not loud at first, but wrong. The human man felt it before he understood it. His body reacted faster than his mind. Another sound followed. Then screaming. A flash of energy burned across the market. A plasma rifle fired from the shadows. People ran. Aliens shouted. Stalls fell. Metal screamed as it hit the ground. The alien child froze. She stood still. Eyes locked on the glowing weapon pointed directly at her. She did not know why she was the target. She only knew fear. The human man saw her. He saw how small she was. He saw that she had nowhere to run. He saw the weapon charging again. He did not think. He moved. In one fast step, he placed himself between the weapon and the child. His body turned. His arms spread wide. He became a shield without words. The second shot fired. The bullet was not metal. It was alien-made, sharp with heat and force. It tore through his chest. The sound was heavy. The impact threw him backward. Blood sprayed across the stone floor. Dark and human, the man fell. Silence followed, short and terrible. The crowd stared. No one spoke. No one moved. The alien child looked down at him. Her glowing eyes reflected red human blood. She did not scream. She did not run. She knelt beside him, hands shaken. Why? She whispered in her own soft language. Why would a human do that? The man coughed. Blood filled his mouth. His vision blurred, but he saw her face. He tried to speak, but no words came. Security alarms finally screamed. Guards rushed in from all sides. The attacker vanished into smoke and panic. Medics pushed through the crowd. They stopped. When they saw the wound, one of them shook his head slowly. That bullet is alien alloy, he said. It burns as it enters. Another medic whispered. He should already be dead. The alien child held the man's hand tighter. Her small fingers pressed against his skin. Her glow flickered. She looked up at the guards and shouted, something urgent. Her voice carried power far beyond her size. The guards froze when they recognized her markings. Their faces changed instantly. This was not just a child. This was someone important. Very important. The man's breathing slowed. Each breath was a struggle. The world faded in and out. Above him, ships moved quietly in orbit, far beyond the colony. Something ancient and powerful was about to awaken, but the man did not know that. All he knew was that the child was safe. As darkness closed around him, the last thing he felt was her hand still holding his, and far away, across the stars, a mother was about to learn what a human had done, and the galaxy would never forget it. The medical room was silent, except for soft machine sounds. Lights glowed pale white above the wounded man. His body lay still. On the table, covered in dark red stains, doctors stood around him, not moving at first. They had seen many injuries before, but this one made them hesitate. The alien bullet had burned through flesh and bone. Its heat still lived inside his chest. The wound did not bleed like normal human wounds. It smoked slightly, like it was still angry. One doctor finally spoke. This should have killed him already. Another shook his head slowly. No human body can take this. But the machines told a different story. The heart was weak, but it was still beating. Slow, stubborn, refusing to stop. Across the room, the alien child stood quietly. Guards surrounded her, but none touched her. They knew who she was now, and they were afraid. She watched the man with wide glowing eyes. Her hands were still stained with his blood. She did not understand humans, but she understood sacrifice.
She asked a guard in a soft voice, "Did he run?" The guard swallowed hard. "No," he said. He stepped forward. The child looked back at the man. Confusion mixed with something new. Respect. Outside the medical center, the colony was changing. News spread fast. A human had taken a bullet meant for an alien. Not just any alien. A child. Some humans were angry. Why save them? They asked. They would not save us. Others were silent, because deep inside, They knew the truth. Someone had done what they were too afraid to do. In a quiet hallway nearby, security officers spoke in low voices. "That child belongs to the royal bloodline," one said. "If the queen finds out," another finished the thought, "this colony could be erased." Back in the medical room, the doctors tried everything. Human medicine failed. The wound rejected it. The alien alloy burned hotter. One doctor made a risky decision. Use alien stabilizers. Another looked shocked. "That could kill him faster." "But if we do nothing," the doctor replied, "he dies anyway." They injected the glowing fluid into his veins. The machines spiked. The man's body shook. His heartbeat went wild. For a moment, everyone thought it was over. Then the heart stabilized. Slow again. Strong again. The room went quiet. No one spoke. No one breathed. One doctor whispered, "He is fighting it." The alien child stepped closer. She placed her small hand gently on his arm. Her glow brightened. The machines reacted. The doctors stared. "What is happening?" someone asked. The readings improved. The burn slowed. The body adapted. "Humans are not supposed to survive this," a medic said. Far away in the dark of space, something else stirred. A message traveled faster than light. It reached a fleet hidden beyond known stars, carried only a few words. The princess was attacked. On the bridge of a massive alien ship, a queen stood tall. Her presence filled the room. Her eyes burned with controlled fury. "Who harmed my child?" she asked. An officer answered carefully. "A human attack, intercepted by another human." The queen turned slowly. "A human saved her." "Yes," the officer said. "He took the shot." Silence followed, heavy and dangerous. "Is he alive?" the queen asked. "Barely," the officer replied. The queen closed her eyes. Something ancient moved behind her calm face. "If he dies," she said, "the stars will remember our anger." Back on the colony, the wounded man drifted in darkness. Dreams and memories mixed. He saw battlefields, fallen friends, crying children he could not save before. This time was different. This time he had stepped forward. In the real world, his fingers twitched. The machines beeped faster. "He is waking," a doctor said. Slowly, painfully, the man opened his eyes. Light stabbed into his vision. Pain followed, sharp and deep. He tried to move. He failed. The alien child leaned closer. Her face filled his blurred sight. "You stayed," she said softly. "You did not run." The man tried to speak. Only one word escaped his lips, weak and broken. "Kid." The doctors rushed forward. "He is conscious." The child smiled for the first time. A small, shining smile. Outside, the sky above the colony darkened. Massive shapes began to appear beyond the clouds, too big to be human ships. The man had survived the bullet, but something far greater was coming. And this time, no one would be able to run, far beyond human space, where stars burned older and brighter. A fleet waited in silence. These ships were not built for trade or travel. They were built for command and destruction. At the center of the formation stood the flagship, massive and alive with energy. Its surface shifted like liquid metal. Inside it, silence ruled. The silence broke when the message arrived. Not a sound, not a light, just a feeling that traveled through every system. The princess had been harmed. Every officer on the bridge felt it at the same time. Fear, anger, and duty mixed together. All eyes turned toward the throne platform. She stood there without armor, without weapons. She did not need them. The queen of the Aurelian Star Dominion was tall and calm. Her skin shimmered like starlight. Her eyes carried the weight of conquered systems. She had ended wars with a single order. She did not shout. She did not move fast. She spoke softly. "Show me." The air before her changed. A hologram appeared. It showed the market on Colony 7. The moment of panic. The flash of the weapon. the human stepping forward. The queen watched the image carefully. She saw the bullet strike the human. She saw him fall. She saw her child kneel beside him. The room grew colder, not from machines, but from her control slipping. This human, she said slowly, did not flee. An officer answered, careful with every word. No, my queen. He moved toward the danger. Why? The queen asked. The officer hesitated. There is no logical reason. The queen raised her hand. Silence returned instantly. There is always a reason, she said. She watched the recording again. Slower this time. She noticed the human's face, the fear, the decision, the acceptance. He knew he would die, she said, and he chose it. The officers exchanged looks. They had studied humans, weak bodies, short lives, constant conflict. This did not match the reports. Another message arrived. The human still lived. Barely. The queen closed her eyes. Her thoughts reached across space. She felt her child's presence. Frightened, but alive. Her voice changed. Softer but more dangerous. Prepare the fleet. The bridge erupted into movement. Energy levels rose. Weapons came online. Jump coordinates locked in. A commander spoke carefully. My queen, if we enter human space with full force, they will see it as invasion. The queen opened her eyes. Stars reflected in them. If they fear us, she said. Good. Back on Colony 7, humans looked up at the sky. Clouds shifted unnaturally. Shadows moved where nothing should be. Old soldiers felt it in their bones. Something powerful was coming. In the medical center, alarms changed tone. Not for the wounded man, but for space traffic. Multiple unknown signatures detected. Too many to count. Officials argued in panic. This is first contact escalation. This is retaliation. This is extinction. The wounded human drifted in and out of awareness. He heard voices. He felt pain. But he also felt calm. Somewhere nearby, the alien child sat quietly. She sensed the shift in the universe. She knew her mother was coming. She whispered to the unconscious man. She rules the stars. She does not forgive. The man did not respond, but his breathing remained steady. In orbit, the first alien ship appeared. Then another, then hundreds. Their forms blocked the stars, turning the sky black. Human defense systems screamed warnings. Weapons charged. Fleets scrambled. On the alien flagship, the queen stepped forward. Open channel, she ordered. A human voice answered, shaking but firm. This is Colony 7. You are entering sovereign space. The queen's image filled every screen, across ships, cities, and stations. I seek one human, she said, the one who stood where others ran. Silence followed. Across human worlds, leaders froze. The queen continued, my daughter lives because of him. Her voice hardened. If he dies, I will unmake the fear you call space. On Colony 7, the medical team looked at the wounded man. Sweat on their faces, hands shaking. They understood now. This man was no longer just a patient. He was the reason the galaxy held its breath. The alien child stood and faced the window. She felt her mother's presence growing closer, like gravity itself. She turned back to the man, and for the first time she was afraid not for herself, but for him. The queen's fleet moved into final position, weapons silent, but ready, and across the stars. One truth became clear. Humanity was about to be judged, not by their power, not by their weapons, but by the choice of one man who did not run. The doctors had stopped counting time. Minutes blended into hours. The medical room felt smaller, heavier, like the walls themselves were holding their breath. The man lay still, too still. Machines showed numbers that made no sense. Human limits were crossed again and again. His heart slowed, then surged. His body burned from the inside. One doctor wiped sweat from his face. This is impossible. he whispered. The alien alloy inside the wound was still active. It fought the human flesh. It refused to cool. It refused to rest. Alien medicine flowed through the man's veins, glowing softly under his skin. It was never designed for humans. It was meant to save alien royalty. The body should have rejected it. The organs should have failed. The brain should have shut down. But it did not. The human body adapted. Cell by cell, pain by pain. The doctors watched in disbelief. Scans changed color. Damage slowed. Tissue began to seal itself. How is he doing this? A medic asked. No one answered. In his mind, the man was not in the medical room. He was back in the war. Red skies, broken cities, orders shouted too late. He remembered running once, long ago, running from a fight he could not win, running from screams that followed him into sleep. This time was different. In his dream, the alien child stood before him, small, glowing, unafraid. She did not blame him. She did not cry. She only waited. The man tried to stand in the dream. Pain crushed him, but he stood anyway. In the real world, his fingers curled. The machines reacted instantly. Movement. Someone shouted. The alien child stepped closer. Her glow brightened again. The air around her shimmered. Her presence was not magic. It was something older, something tied to command and bloodline. She placed her hand on the man's chest, not on the wound, but near his heart. The readings changed again, stabilizing, strengthening. This should not be happening, a doctor said. His body is learning, another replied. Outside the medical center, panic grew. Alien ships filled the sky. Human defenses locked targets. Missiles waited for orders that never came. Leaders argued in closed rooms. Give them the man. No. If he dies, we all die. Inside the flagship above the planet, the Queen watched silently. She felt the man's struggle through distant senses. A weak signal, but stubborn. This human refuses to fall, she said softly. An officer responded. He should be dead, my queen. Yes, she replied. And yet, back on the table, the man gasped suddenly. Air rushed into his lungs. Pain exploded through his chest. His eyes opened wide. He screamed, a raw human sound that filled the room. Doctors rushed in, holding him down, stabilizing his breathing. The alien child did not step back. She watched him carefully. When the pain passed, the man collapsed back into the table, breathing hard, alive. He crossed the critical point, a doctor said. If he survives the next hour, he will live. The words felt unreal. In orbit, the Queen turned away from the viewing screen. Her voice carried authority. Stand down, primary weapons. The officers hesitated. My queen. He lives, she said. That changes everything. Back on the colony, the sky remained dark, but the guns did not fire. The alien child leaned close to the man. You should be dead, she said softly. The man smiled weakly, a simple human expression, full of pain, full of truth. Yeah, he whispered. I get that a lot. She tilted her head, confused, then smiled back. In that small moment, something shifted, not just in the room, but across the stars, because for the first time, the alien empire saw proof. Humans did not survive because they were strong. They survived because they refused to stop. And the Queen of the Stars was no longer sure. Whether humanity was weak or terrifying, the sky above Colony 7 changed slowly at first. Not with fire, not with sound, but with shadow. People looked up from streets and windows. Clouds bent in strange ways. Light dimmed as if the sun itself was afraid. Then the stars disappeared. One by one, massive shapes slid into place. Alien ships, larger than anything humans had built. Their hulls swallowed light. Their presence pressed down like gravity. Children cried. Adults froze. Soldiers reached for weapons they knew would not help. Every screen on the colony lit up at the same time. Emergency alerts screamed. Unidentified fleet. Extreme threat level. Human defense platforms powered up.
Missile Armed.
Fighter wings launched. But no one fired. They all knew the truth. If this fleet attacked, there would be nothing left to defend. Inside the medical center, the lights flickered. The wounded man felt it even before the alarms changed. A pressure in the air. A sense that something enormous had arrived. The alien child stood very still. Her glow faded slightly. She knew this moment. She is here, she whispered. Doctors exchanged worried looks. Who? One asked. My mother, the child replied. In orbit, the alien flagship moved forward. It dwarfed the human station nearby, like a mountain floating in space. On its bridge, the Queen watched the planet below. Blue, fragile, full of short-lived lives. So this is where he lies, she said. A human commander's voice broke into the channel, shaking but controlled. This is a warning. You are violating human space. The Queen did not react immediately. She studied the planet, the weak defenses, the scattered ships. Finally, she spoke. Her voice traveled across space without effort. Clear, calm, unstoppable. I did not come for your worlds, she said. I came for one human. The message echoed through every city, every bunker, every ship. On Colony 7, people turned toward the medical center. Fear spread faster than sound. Inside, the man struggled to breathe. Pain flared with every movement. He tried to sit up, failed. What is happening? He asked weakly. No one answered at first. The alien child stepped closer, her eyes serious. The sky turned black because of you, she said. The man frowned, confused. Guess I really messed up this time, he muttered. Outside, human leaders argued in panic. Hand him over. One shouted, if we don't, she will destroy us. Another slammed a fist on the table. He saved her child. We cannot betray him. The Queen's fleet continued to move. Perfect formation. Silent power. Weapons charged but remained locked, waiting for a single word. On the flagship, an officer approached carefully. My Queen, human forces are preparing for last defense. The Queen nodded slowly. They are brave, she said. Bravery does not equal wisdom. She raised her hand. Open a direct channel to the surface. In the medical center, every screen turned white. Then her image appeared. Tall, radiant, terrifying. Doctors fell silent. Guards stepped back. The alien child bowed her head. The Queen's eyes focused instantly on the wounded man. Even through layers of metal and flesh, she felt him. That is him, she said. The human who stood still. The man looked at the screen. Vision blurry, pain screaming through his chest. Well, he said weakly, guess I should say hello. Gasps filled the room. The Queen studied him. Broken body, unarmed, still alive. You are the reason my fleet stands above your world, she said. The man swallowed. I was just trying to help a kid, he replied. Silence followed. Across ships, across cities, across stars. The Queen turned slightly. To all humans, she announced, your weapons mean nothing to us. But your choices do. Human fleets waited, fingers trembling over triggers. The Queen continued, this man's life now holds the balance. In the medical room, the alien child looked at him, fear in her eyes. If you die, she whispered, they will burn everything. The man closed his eyes briefly, then opened them again. Then I guess, he said softly, I better not die. Above the planet, the fleet locked into final position. Weapons glowing, space bending under their power. The sky was fully black now, not from night, but from judgment, and the entire human race waited, as one wounded man struggled to breathe, holding the fate of worlds in his hands. The air inside the medical center felt heavy, not from machines, but from power. The Queen's image filled the room, tall and still, Her presence alone made guards lower their weapons without realizing it. She stepped forward on the screen, each movement slow, controlled, like a storm choosing when to strike. "Bring him to me," the queen said. Not a request, not a threat. In fact, human commanders protested through the channel. "He is critically injured. He cannot be moved." The queen's eyes shifted, cold, ancient, sharp. "If he stays," she replied, "you will bury this world." No one argued after that. Medical hover systems activated, carefully lifting the wounded man. Every movement sent pain through his body. He clenched his jaw but did not scream. He had learned long ago that pain was just another enemy. The alien child walked beside him, her small hand resting on the edge of the platform. She did not let go. Outside, the doors opened, and the sky swallowed them. The queen's ship descended without sound, a massive structure blocking the sun, casting a shadow that reached across the city. The platform rose toward it. Humans watching from below felt their hearts stop. They were sending one man to face a god. Inside the flagship, the doors opened. Light poured out like liquid silver. The air felt clean, sharp, powerful. The queen stood waiting, not surrounded by guards, not behind shields. She did not need protection. The wounded man was placed before her. Small, broken, human. The queen looked down at him. For a long time, long enough for fear to grow. "This is the human," she said quietly. "The one who did not run." She circled him slowly. Her eyes traced every wound, every sign of weakness. "You knew my child was not your kind," she said, "and yet you chose her life over your own." The man forced himself to meet her gaze, voice weak but steady. "She was scared," he said. That was enough. A murmur moved through the alien officers watching. Confusion, disbelief. The queen stopped moving. "Your species fears mine," she said. "You teach your young to stay away." The man nodded slightly. "Yeah. Fear is kind of our thing." "Then why?" the queen asked. "Did fear not stop you?" The room went silent. Even the machines seemed to wait. The man breathed slowly. Pain burned with every breath. "I have run before," he said, "and I still see those faces." He looked at the child, safe behind her mother now. "I was not going to run again." The queen's expression changed. Not anger, not rage, something deeper. She raised a hand. Energy shifted instantly. Weapons across the fleet powered down halfway. The officers stared. "My queen," one whispered. "Silence," she replied. She stepped closer to the man, close enough that he could feel the heat of her presence. "Do you know?" she asked softly. "What happens when my child is harmed?" The man nodded weakly. "Yeah," he said. "I'm guessing this." A faint smile touched the queen's face, gone as quickly as it appeared. "Entire species have vanished," she said. "For less." The man swallowed. "Well," he replied, "guess I picked a bad day to be brave." The alien child gasped softly, fear flashing across her face. The queen raised her hand again, stopping everything. "You misunderstand," she said. "I did not bring my fleet for punishment." The room froze. "I brought them," she continued, "because I needed to see." She turned toward the gathered humans watching through the channel. "I needed to know. What kind of species produces a man who bleeds for another child?" She looked back at him. "Your body is weak," she said. "Your life short." Then her voice hardened. "But your will is dangerous." The officers shifted uncomfortably. "You protect the young," the queen said. "You step into death without command. You choose morality over survival." She paused. "That makes you unpredictable." The man smiled faintly. "Yeah. That sounds like us." The queen stood straight. Her voice echoed across every ship, every screen. "Hear this?" she declared. "To the fleets, to the stars, to history. She placed her hand over her chest, a gesture older than empires. This human is under my protection. Gasps erupted across alien ranks, across human cities. Any who harm him, she continued, answer to me. She turned back to the man, her gaze steady. You saved my child, she said. Now you will live. The man exhaled shakily. Well, he said, that's a relief. The queen allowed herself a small nod, but then she added, and because of you. Her eyes lifted toward the stars. The galaxy will remember humanity. The fleet held position, weapons silent, judgment passed, but the story was not over yet, because alliances born from blood and courage changed the future forever. The silence after the Queen's judgment felt heavier than any explosion. Across human space, fleets remained frozen, weapons powered but unused, fear slowly turning into disbelief. The Queen stood before the wounded man, her fleet waiting for her next command. Thousands of ships, millions of lives. She raised her hand once more, and this time the gesture was not for war. Kneel, she said. Across space, alien commanders hesitated for less than a breath. Then every ship lowered its posture. Weapons shut down. Energy fields dimmed. The impossible happened. A galactic fleet knelt, not before a throne, not before power, but before a wounded human who could barely stand. On Colony 7, people stared at the sky in shock. Some cried, some fell to their knees, others simply watched, unable to understand what they were seeing. The man looked around weakly. Is this normal? He whispered. The alien child smiled softly. For us, she said. No. The Queen turned toward the human leaders watching through the channel. Her voice carried authority, but also clarity. You feared my arrival, she said. That fear was logical. She paused. But fear is not the same as truth. She gestured toward the man. This one did not act for reward. He did not act for glory. He acted because a child was afraid. Her gaze sharpened. And because of that, you have gained something rare. The human leaders waited, barely breathing. You have gained my trust, the Queen said. The words echoed across worlds. This human, she continued, has altered the path of empires. The Queen stepped closer to him, her voice softer now. Your body will heal, she said. Our science will see to that. The man frowned slightly. Does that mean I owe you something? He asked. A ripple of surprise moved through the alien officers. The Queen answered calmly. No. You owe me nothing. She turned toward her child, who stood tall now, no longer afraid. You have already paid. The Queen faced the stars again. To all who hear this, she declared, humanity is under my protection. A shockwave of reaction spread through the galaxy. Old enemies went silent. Predators recalculated. Empires paused. For any who threaten them, the Queen continued, you will face us first. On Colony 7, the sky began to brighten. Alien ships slowly moved back. Stars returned. Light touched the streets again. The man was carefully lowered back onto the medical platform, his strength fading, but his purpose fulfilled. Before he lost consciousness, he looked at the Queen one last time. I just hope, he said softly, that this makes things better. The Queen nodded once. It already has. Days later, the man woke again, this time to sunlight, real sunlight, not shadows. His chest still hurt, but the pain was distant now, controlled. Doctors stood nearby, smiling in disbelief. You are officially a medical mystery, one said. The alien child sat beside his bed, reading from a glowing screen. She looked up when he opened his eyes. You changed everything, she said. The man shook his head weakly. No, he replied. I just stood still. News spread across human worlds, not of weapons, not of battles, but of a A single moment where a human did not run. In alien courts and councils, humans were no longer called weak. They were called dangerous in a different way, because they would bleed for the innocent. The queen watched from the stars, satisfied, thoughtful. She had ruled through fear for centuries, but now she understood something new. The strongest force in the galaxy was not fleets, not weapons, not power. It was a simple human decision, made in a crowded market, to protect a child. And from that day forward, whenever darkness moved toward human space, another shadow followed it, one that belonged to a queen, a fleet, and an alliance born from blood and courage, because the galaxy had learned a final truth. Humans do not rule the stars. They protect them, and the stars remember